Okay, let's do some technical stuff. Okay, like I said, I'm a discretionary trader, not as much as I used to be. But when I say discretionary, I mean I don't trade a system where as if X average crosses Y average, then I buy. I don't do that. I do have some pretty mechanical things that I do, but there's always an override that I decide for myself. And sometimes I'll even just look at a whole bunch of things and just take a trade based on that. And that's what we're going to look at today. The way I would usually do things is just integrate a lot of things and look for them to come in at the same price and time point. Okay? And you've got the little booklet that's a summary of basically what our last presentation was, which I know you haven't had time to go through today, but hopefully when you get home you'll have a look at it. And basically it's the start of this confluence of indicators or systems and integration of time frames. And I was even more doing this when I did the first presentation than I am now. Because, as I said, I've become a little more mechanical. Okay, we're just going to talk really briefly about a WD Gann technique. I'm sure you've all heard of Gann analysis. Gann was a great trader in the early part of the century, and they had this story from Ticker Digest, which I believe was the forerunner to Barron's, I believe. And they had a reporter follow him around for 40 days or something, and he did, I can't remember the numbers now, 296 trades or something, and 271 of them were winners. And he made like 10 times his capital over that period. So the story goes anyway. Gann analysis can get quite complicated, but there are some things that are kind of straightforward that I like to look at. One of the things that Gann did use was a square 9, or it's called the square of 9. It's called the octagon chart. It's called the master price and time calculator. It's called the Gann wheel. Basically, all we've got is it's sort of like a two-dimensional representation of a pyramid. Okay, where your one block is in here, and then all the blocks are just building, in a clockwise, or it can be counterclockwise if you reverse the numbers, fashion around the center. Two basic ways I use this. Now the one that is in the sheet first, and this is hard to follow if you don't have the. I think that everyone's got a. Did everyone get a square 9 in a? There's no square 9 in the book or anything like that? No? No. Okay, well I've got some here, okay, so I'll give them out to you before you guys leave. Basically, it's really hard to follow without the square. Okay, what we've got here, we'll just have to try to remember these numbers. Basically, we've got here a low of 696 in beans and a low here of 722. Okay, so what basically the idea of the square 9 is that markets move in patterns around the square. Now, is this chart in here, that chart that I threw up last time? Is it in there? Okay, good. Well, we can follow it through that. Okay, so we've got, just bear with me. It's really hard for me to read the numbers on here. Wow. Sorry, guys. I'll be with you in 1 second. Okay, so we lay the overlay through the number 1 in the center, and then we throw it through the sets. Okay, there we go. So we've got it going through the 696 low. Now, obviously, the 696 and the 722 low are given, so here's our 696, 722 is over here, all right? So we've got two of them, 90 degrees apart, okay? And the 751 will be up here, okay? So it's 180 degrees from this low, 90 degrees from this low is the top, okay? Now, I'd like to match, what I'd like to do is at least match two previous swing points to find the third one. So what I'd like to see them is either 90 degrees apart, 180 degrees apart, or 270 degrees apart. Okay? Now I know it's hard without your squares, but is that clear what we're trying to do here? Okay? That's one way to use it. Now I'll tell you what, the way I really like, and to be honest, I almost didn't bring this today because I really like what I'm going to show you next, and it's really worked well for me. Okay? And it's really simple. And I haven't seen anyone else teach it. I just stumbled on it myself, so I don't think that you're going to see it somewhere else. Basically, what I've been doing is figuring out what day of the year it is numerically. For instance, February 6th, I believe, was the 37th day of the year. 31 days in January plus 6 more is the 37th day. Okay? So December 31st would be 365. All right? Then what I do, look on the square for Friday, which would be what did I say? 37? Yeah. Okay, that's not great, but it's close enough. So once I found 37, okay, then I'm looking, and this works for almost any commodity for a month. What I'm looking for is support and resistance for that day. And an amazing amount of time, what you're going to find is you're going to find support along this line here, along 0 or 180 degree line, or along the 90 degree line or the 270 line. Okay? Now obviously this has a midline in here which I kind of look at if things are too far apart. But this has really been a big, as a discretionary trader for finding support and resistance for that day, this has been a huge help to me. Right? It's amazing how many times one of these things is going to hit the high or the low for the day. Okay? If you go back and look at that, you can just go through Friday's paper with this, right? And go look at it and see how many times, support or resistance was right along those lines. Okay? It's unbelievable. Right? So that's the best thing that I think that I'm really going to show you today. And like I said, I almost didn't bring it because it's been so useful to me recently. Yep?
And what is this based on?
The square 9?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's, I don't know where Gann got it, except perhaps it's the two-dimensional view of the pyramid, and the pyramid's where the Fibonacci ratios come from and everything like that. I don't know where W.G. Gann got this. Okay, I can't vouch for that. I don't know. I just looked at this thing, and as the story goes, apparently when they cleaned out Gann's, office or wherever they had all this stuff, he had like a lot of these, and they're all dog-eared and stuff like that. So, like I said, I'm not the leading expert on Gann, that's for sure. I know some stuff about it, and I have some old original courses, but it's real confusing. There's a lot of Gann stuff that's real confusing, okay? Just for instance, Gann uses the term square in just about every English context you could use it, okay? And I think that's confusing for a lot of people because he uses it, and people automatically assume square means the same thing all the time. It doesn't. He's got 5 different meanings in Gann, okay? But he never says that. He just keeps calling it square. So to answer your question, I don't know where it comes from. I just know that it's a Gann technique, and I used to use the first technique I showed you a lot. I still use it sometimes, but this one is just so quick. Every day I can just get a quick view on where potential support and resistance is. Now, the other thing that I want to mention about this is that I try to use 3 digits. All right. So, for instance, if we've got cocoa at 1600. I'll usually use like 160, round it down. For bonds, I can, if they're, 116, then I'm in change, then, use 116. Now, obviously, these numbers can keep going up higher and higher in a circle. All right, so if you want to go to 4 digits and you want to put the numbers around, you can experiment with that as well. But that's something I really find useful, and it's so quick and dirty to get a quick read on it each day.